Peace, everybody. Recording. Hey, hey, hey. Gosh, man, your claps are echoing. Oh, man.
We made it. We made
Yeah,
it.
we did. We did. This is the best part. One of the best parts of the day right now. I'm feeling
It,
so good seeing you right there. Oh, man, this has been the power hour.
has got to be the power hour. I hope you guys join us on this community beacon. We definitely appreciate you all for checking in. We are live right now. It's Friday, August 30th, 2024. My son
Yeah.
just started school 3 weeks ago. And I told him, I remember when I started high school, he's in high school now, the oldest. And I remember my first week of high school. And I remember looking at my sister and I said, getting up at 5:30, having to get to the bus. I looked at her and I said, I don't think I'm gonna make
Mm.
it. And she was like, I'm sure she just dismissed me. We went opposite school. She went to Gardens, I went to Suncoast. And if you go to Suncoast, you always have to say that you went to Suncoast. Shouts out to Suncoast Chargers in the house. And then I
All
was
right.
talking to Elijah. I said, 3 weeks have gone by. I said, I'm gonna tell you what I found out. I told my sister that first week of school, and the next thing I know, I was walking across the stage graduating. I said,
Mm.
high school might be one of the fastest periods of your life. It goes by so quickly. And I kind of started thinking about like, why is that? And I was like, well, you don't have any bills per se, but you're kind of on the edge of being an adult, but you don't have to keep the refrigerator full. When you go off to college, it's a rude awakening because when you open up the refrigerator and there's nothing in there, you're looking around like, who's gonna put something in the refrigerator? And you got to take a look in the mirror and be like, oh, that's me. It's this guy. So you so
Yeah.
you get a different type of urgency during college. Now you fully become an adult. But in high school, you think you're an adult. Because if you talk to any high school, they think they know everything. They believe that they're grown. But however, when that refrigerator needs to get full, they asking somebody, Dad, Mom, when you going to when you gonna put something in this refrigerator? When the lights ain't, you don't got that light bill is not coming up. I got a reminder to pay my cell phone bill, and Elijah's on there as well. I said, I wonder if he gets these reminders like I get these reminders because I'm the only one thinking about it. They don't send these reminders to everybody on the planet. Is it just me? What? Yeah, but
It's a whole new world.
it's a whole new world. High school goes like this though. So I told him, enjoy it. Um, Met a friend at a bank today. He's about to graduate to private management. So kudos to him. And he was doing some notaries for myself and Elijah. And I love that knowing that Elijah was going to school, he gave him almost the same pep talk. He said, if you don't remember anything, remember this is that to expose yourself to good people.
Mm.
Always be around good people during these high school years. Stay away from the troublemakers, so on and so forth. And I'm like, man, that's the same thing I told you on the
Mm.
first day of school. And he was like, well, I don't remember that one. I said, well, it's it's good to have somebody else, kind of
Yeah.
repeat what we say, man. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's
be
big.
around good people. I'm around good people today, guys. I'm Mike Seville, the real estate guy here in Palm Beach, Florida. Palm Beach
Bum,
Gardens,
bum,
by the
bum,
way.
bum.
And of course, you got speaking of being around good people, you got my brother from another mother, the Joel Simmons of the
Yeah.
Tenacity Foundation.
That's
Um,
it. What's going on?
we're here, man, and
Yeah,
ready
we
to get
are.
into this conversation.
Yeah.
Community Beacon, guys. If you all have any comments and questions, etc., you can put on the chat. If you're feeling really froggy, I'll send you the link and you could jump in. That'll be fun. That'll be
Mm,
interesting. If you're feeling froggy to give your opinion on this conversation that we're getting into. And of course, we are in the mindset series. Last week we spoke about the IQ, the intelligence quotient. I thought it was an awesome conversation. I always leave these conversations thinking about what we're talking about. Um, and so, if you all get a chance, go back and watch what we did last week. IQ was an awesome conversation. This week, we'll be getting into EQ, and I have the EQ man with me. I take a lot of cues from the brother. Uh, we've been knowing each other for over a decade now, over a decade. And when I first met him, I probably didn't have the highest EQ. And what's worse about it is I didn't care.
mm.
I didn't care. You was going, yeah, as Loaded Lux said, you're gonna get this work. And I quickly found out that it's much easier to read the room. It's much easier to get flies using honey rather than vinegar.
Mm,
I, I quickly found out that it was better to listen and listen to understand and come with compassion, and respond in kind. And the word that we spoke about prior, one of the things that brother taught me as well, which I love him for. I love him for a lot of things, but one of the things I love him for is decorum. And before we got on here, we were speaking about this word that's been trailblazing the internet, which is demure. And hopefully, if you saw that you took the time out to take a look at it. However, I would ask you to add one more word into your vocabulary, and that's decorum. And people that value this decorum, they also have high EQs because what would the world be if we just followed our every whim? So check out the definition, and the brother will both go back and forth on this. It says it measures a person's ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence emotions, both their own and others. Let's go,
mm.
brother.
Yeah. EQ is broken up into basically two sides. There's two sides of a coin, and then each one of those sides is broken up 50-50%, right? So you have your personal side, right? You have the self, and you have the social. Those are the two different sides of the coin when it comes down to EQ. And first is the awareness. Self-awareness is the first part of EQ, and then self-management will be the second part on one side of the coin. The next one will be social awareness and then social management. And so all of these things are skills, right? These are things that you're able to develop, to build. You can
Come
learn
on.
how to read the room. But first, I think that is most important to learn how to read yourself. I had a particular type of scenario going on today, and I was sharing that with the brother over there. So, I had this situation where uh, my my work moved me in such a way that it gave me some frustration, some anger,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for me, it was like, all right. I mean, I immediately started to check off all of these different boxes. What are you feeling right now? Man, you are frustrated. Why are you frustrated? Because it's happened before. Why else? Because it's happened to other people. Why else? Because it doesn't seem like it should be something that is happening on this high of a level. So I start going through this mental checklist. I'm logging things off. Like, I need to know why. Now, how could you feel? Should you feel something different? No, this is exactly what I feel. So what are you going to do with that feeling? Okay, I need to speak about this. I need to talk about this. Who are you going to talk with? Well, I'm talking with myself right now, but I also need to speak with, okay, let me talk with the supervisor. So I want to speak with my supervisor. Let me speak with whatever supervisor I need to speak with. Let me speak with HR. What level? Where am I going with this? And so breaking all of these different things down is what has been getting me through because the feeling of it had latched on. And I believe that this is the essence of emotional intelligence. Many times, what we as people, what we do with the feelings that come in is we shove them down.
Yep.
I don't believe that that's the right thing to do. Now, you might look at me like I'm crazy, like, what's going on with Joe? Why is he acting the way he's acting? It's because I'm not going to wear a mask just because you're standing in the room. I'm not going to do that. Like, so my thought process is I've been through a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And if I am mistreated, I don't believe that it's for me to pretend as if I wasn't mistreated, simply to make it easier for everybody else. Today may be the day that you don't get greeted with the happy-go-lucky smile. You just get greeted with the, yeah, I'm smiling because this hurts and you about to learn about
Mm.
it. And it's like, and so, but at the same rate, it's like the other side of the coin now. So what does that mean? Well, okay, who's involved in this? How did other people affect me? Who affected me? All right. So before I go flying off the handle and pointing fingers at every individual that possibly could have laid their hands to my discomfort, investigation. How are people taking? And I was able to find that everybody took things really well. The approach that they had towards me was really well. It was very conservative. Everybody was attempting to figure out what was it? How did this happen? How can we help? How can we not? How can we create a situation where this doesn't happen? So the second part is now my management, social management, how I appear in front of other people. So here's the thing: I want to drop this inside of this, inside of this mastermind. Me controlling myself and the way I approach my environment, my social environment, like I shared with Mike, I said, man, I, I was at the point where I had to use the words, I hate something. And he's like, brother, be careful with that because, you know, something that I heard was you become what you hate. So, and I get it. And I appreciate the brother's comments and I appreciate his words. What I was standing in the in the at the position of was establishing exactly what those feelings are, recognizing them, being extremely aware and not afraid to say this is exactly what I feel. You know why? Because it's going to come up again one day and I want to know exactly what it was. I want to know how to deal with it because once you become aware, the brother and I, we got a couple of the same words. He goes triple, quadruple A, and I go awareness, acceptance, proper plan, right? And then consistently you develop that plan. So I accepted, all right, this is how I feel. Because I
Acceptance is
feel like
big.
once you accept something, now you can work on it. If you don't believe that the countertop, you're building a countertop and you don't believe that it's not level, you won't work on it to make it level. No matter what happens, you can put a cup on it and it can slide. Nah, it looks good to me. You're going to leave it that way. Visitors are going to come over, they're going to put their cup on your countertop and it's going to slide on off and spill. And
Hmm.
everyone's going to look, hey, what's going on? Oh, I know your countertop. It ain't level. Oh, man, you know what? You're right. It's too late now because now your countertop's not level and you got to redo the entire thing. But when you accept it, when you become aware, ooh, something's wrong here,
Hmm.
and it looks slanted, you put the leveler on there and it's telling you it's slanted. It's like, okay, I put this in, I installed it incorrectly. I did that. I accept it. Now what do I do? That is the next thing that should be coming out of your mouth. It should be coming from your mind. Now what do we do next? How do I, and the brother uses the word adjust. How do I adjust? What is the proper plan of action to make it so that we can be level? How can we meet on the level? And so these are the different steps that I use during the course of this day. And it was very interesting because I started off this day with being grateful and I got hit real heavy, real heavy. This one hit me very hard because of my predisposition, the things that I've been going through over the last 2 to 3 weeks. Some things are so heavy that I won't even share them at this point in time because it affects the wave of it affects other people so much that I don't want to put them in undue peril because I'm dealing with the situation. I don't want them to be put in. This is social awareness and
Yeah.
management. I'm not going to simply throw somebody else out there because I am going through this passage and they are a part of that passage. They and I are in the same environment at the same time, feeling some type of emotional attachment to something that is similar. And each one of us, we represent a piece of whatever's going on, a yin and a yang. So I don't want to put that out there because I destroy their social ability to enact change. I destroy the constructs of what is going on in somebody else's life simply because I want to fix mine. Social management. How do I step through these doors? And how do I keep myself composed? What is the decorum of this situation? How do I keep myself in a certain way where I am not wearing a mask? Well, I'm not hiding, walking in like happy go lucky. I just found, $100 bills on the way in, and I'm just, I'm super when I'm not feeling that. No. Do I got joy? Yeah. Look at this. I got hands. I can clap. I can talk. I'm sitting here with Mike, but no, it doesn't work that way. Stand by
I
one
love it.
second, Mike. Go.
Yeah, yeah. I love what the brother is talking about because he mentioned the awareness factor of it. And I think oftentimes like we're not self-aware. So if you're not aware of yourself, it's hard for you to be aware of everything else that's going on. Sometimes you can be too much into what is going on with somebody else. You know what I mean? And so now the awareness is so and not be aware of yourself. So now you come off, you're like attempting to please someone at the expense of yourself. One of the things he spoke about, like I'm not a big person on feelings in a certain kind of way, meaning I'm sitting in there and I allow it to lead me, but it's absolutely makes sense for you to validate your feelings. I don't have it. Everybody else doesn't. It would be good for you to do it and not to resist it like the brother spoke about. Um, he spoke about decorum. There's a time and there's a place for everything. Uh, and what I love what he said, and I was going to talk about it if he didn't, but he spoke about his predisposition. What exactly was going on prior to this? The brother said for 2 weeks he had been going through whatever he was going through. And then this is the proverbial, today is the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. You have to be aware of it. The second A that we share is acceptance. I think for most people, this is the hardest thing. This step requires, I'm not a big time person, but I would say time, but more so we can get over this hump of time. It takes the focus and the effort, which requires you to kind of sit in this thing. I'm accepting that this countertop is crooked. For years, I just let it go by, and maybe it'll correct itself or whatever happened. And then when we accept it, we don't place, or at least I don't. I don't place a judgment on it. The acceptance part is that this is happening, whatever it may be. Today, I walked in. I had already been predisposed to it. I was grateful this morning, but I was grateful because this morning because of what I had, and I also kind of was expecting my day to go a certain way. I was kind of expecting it, but now, boom, here comes something. As life happens, something comes out of something kind of shifts us. And so now, because of everything I had already been going through, I'm here now. This is happening. It's not this, it's not that, because if we're thinking people and we use logic and I know the brother and I are data driven, so we receive this information. It's been this way forever. You know, today the proverbial shoe dropped on me. So it's like but that acceptance, when you come to that acceptance from a place of it just is, right? This is what it is. Now we can get into, the brother said prepare for planning. I say to make the adjustment. It's kind of the same. We kind of make the adjustment. What do we need to do now? I'm aware of this feeling. I'm not feeling this way. I'm angry. It could be, and it could be the opposite way. I'm in love. I'm happy. Here's a tricky one. Excited, right? All these feelings, these different feelings are happening, but I'm aware of it now because you know what? I know me. And so now because I know me, I can see where I'm taking, where I'm at. You all know I like my conscious scale, the scale of consciousness that I have. Where am I on this scale of consciousness in this moment? You know, maybe for the past couple of weeks, I was at, grief or whatever it is, shame, whatever. Today I'm at anger. And I'm gonna be honest with you, anger is higher than grief and shame and guilt. So we got to give ourselves credit for that. However, we know this is where I'm at. And so now from that point on, we can go into this acceptance part, because acceptance tells us that these things just happen. I heard Noam Chomsky, who's a linguist. If you ever get a chance to check him out, he's awesome. Noam Chomsky said that now I can ask myself, and this is a part of acceptance, is this real? Am I making this thing up? Is someone making something up? Is someone forcing projecting on me? Is this real? Okay, this is real. Now this is the adjustment. Because now I get to see this thing from as much angles as I possibly can, different perspectives. And it's like, now if I got a high EQ, my adjustment is going to be legendary, because I'm going to react with the decorum that's necessary for it if I have a high EQ, which means that I'm managing my emotions. I'm not allowing it to run around with me. And then I'm also looking at other people, because you know what? At this adjustment period, if I'm dealing with other people, this is the perfect time to set boundaries. Because guess what? You could be a very spirited arguer, like my father. He's a very spirited arguer. So I know when he argues, because this is the way he is, he points, and he's doing this, and he's getting angry, and he's cutting you off while the conversation is happening. Well, I know me, so I'm like, oh, this ain't the time for it. I'm tired right now. I'm angry right now. I had a long day. Hey, Pops, let's table this conversation for the next day. But those of you who are married and dealing with significant others, hey, wife, we're going to get back to this conversation, because what you have to say is important to me. But I have a high EQ, and we spoke about this a while back. I'm going to let me go take a nap, or let me go take a shower, or let me go do this. Let me go take a walk around the block. I told a brother one time that, him and his wife his significant other had a situation. And I said, tell your wife this, I'm going to go take a walk around the block. I need these 15 to 20 minutes. When I get back, I promise you we will get to this conversation. And if we can't get to this conversation, I'm going to let you know another time, hey, that 15 to 20 minutes wasn't enough. I think I need to put on these shoes, and I need to run now. At the end of the day, us as men, because there's no hiding or ducking through these things. And we have feelings. I'm not faking the funk. But I also know there's decorum, because what we took years to build can be destroyed in moments. What we took years to build could be destroyed in moments, because we don't have the proper decorum. And I'm going to tell you what, it's better for you to walk away than for you to say something or do something that's going to cost you way more than that. We're thinking men. This is when you got to go back to your IQ. We're thinking, we're having this information, and we're gathering this information, and then the high EQ comes into it. I know the brother we on a
Mm.
time limit, as we both know. You know, I get to enjoying these conversations,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, you
But
brought up a lot of good things, man. A lot of things that need to be
yeah,
discussed.
hey y'all, think on this stuff. Maybe we do a part two for this EQ thing. It's important, but the timing was perfect for now. I think what we had to
Mm.
conversate because going through what is happening in the now and being able to bring it out here is paramount. So
Yeah.
we
Let
definitely
me
have to.
just
Yeah, go
let
ahead,
me
brother.
touch on
I'm
something
on
for
your
just a
time.
couple of
I'm on your
seconds.
time. I'm on your time. I'm on your time.
So I love when you start talking about joy, happiness, and excitement. And I just want to make a small mention on that. Sometimes our joy, our happiness, our excitement, sometimes it's so overshadowing that the
Mm,
person that we are with, our loved ones, the ones we care about, sometimes they're low. And all we're doing is nothing wrong with bringing the ray of sunshine, but be socially aware because sometimes you can push
I love the
somebody
breakdown.
away because you haven't even been emotionally attached to what they're going through. They
Mm.
needed you to be there for them, and you should be so happy. And they're not ready for that right now. No, they need to be lifted up, not somebody, pouncing all over the place. Boundaries and guardrails, setting those things up, set them up early as possible. Sometimes you got to set them up after the situation happens. When it cools off, go back, logically think about it. What could I have done differently? Now go and talk about that when you're in a good state of mind and say, hey, listen, I think we ought to do this. And then just that decorum, that is decorum. The definition of decorum is behavior in keeping with good taste and propriety. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that, you know, good taste and propriety. If you want to have good relationships, then you need to set up a decorum that you can follow that will keep good relationships. Somewhere where you can, a relationship where you can be free to be yourself,
Hmm.
but at the same rate, you don't destroy somebody else.
I love it, brother. I love it. You're hearing it. You're hearing it from the expert. I'm telling you, a decade with this brother rubbed off. Be around good people. Expose yourself to good people, man. And you don't know where it'll take you in life. Other than that, short show. We appreciate you all. We'll get back into this conversation another day.
Let's do
Peace.
it. Love you, man.
Love you too.